you'd maybe see them get a bit deeper, maybe try and get positions a bit deeper in the zone so they have a larger range of teams to get for Storm Surge tags. Nothing too, out of the norm, nothing too spectacular, but just a small tweak that they could make.
Now, I kind of want to shift topics really quickly because I want to remind everybody of our predictions coming into day number 2 of the finals. Levin, Shayo, you both agree that Anas Flick and Thomas HG, and this is why I brought up my point, because you do think they could go all the way.
Yeah, I'm sticking with the boys. I think they will be hungry to finally get that FNCS championship win, and they are still poised to really, put a good performance into the sitting in 8th at the moment. There's still hope for them.
Yep, and I've gone with Tayson, Nate, and 4ZR. These guys have fixed all their mistakes, it seems. And into yesterday, when I spoke to Tayson, he said, as soon as we get Storm Surge, we are fine. And that's exactly what they did on day 1. They did have a little bit lower average eliminations than they normally would. So if today we see them with large pop-offs, this is going to be them climbing up the leaderboards, potentially looking for that championship again.
Yeah, and Sancho looks like a genius because his pick is in first right now with Refsguard, Savage, and Andretta. So if they can just stay there, Sancho's going to take it all today.
Absolutely. Well, we're not wasting any more time. It's time to kick off the competition. We're going over to Sancho West and ShyWager to start our day.
This is the finale of the finals, the last day of a multi-week event. Whether you're in Party Royale, on the couch, or watching along with your friends, welcome to the European FNCS. Sancho, a slew of games to play today, $1.3 million on the line for EU as well. This is going to be insane.
And don't you go anywhere because the action is already kicking off with our #1 place team being contested at Steamy Stacks. We all saw this going down on social media. Will it be Wolfies actually here? No, it's actually Nexus Trio. This is what we're talking about. The adjustments are already happening in day 2 because $1 million+ are on the line and the championship is at stake. And here is our defending champions, Hen, Janice, and Chapix, already trading between Highcrest. It is a deja vu moment, the sequel to the fireworks that we saw in day 1. Shayo, it's already picking up, baby. It is the FNCS EU.
Yeah, and it's absolute deja vu. Highcrest already going down inside the first game. We saw 12 games played yesterday. Or 6 games played yesterday. There's 12 games to play. In all 6, these guys fought over and over again. Highcrest either going down first or Hen. This time it will be Highcrest. Knight and Vortex will have to try to pick up the slack here, but with a top tier trio who's won this POI over and over, just breathing down your neck, it seems absolutely impossible.
Here we go. These are very important moments. Looks like Andretta actually gets knocked, so we'll keep an eye on the feed on that here. That is our #1 team, already a knock against them. Let's go ahead and focus back in here. Chapix, Hen, on the basically so close getting a repeat championship.
We'll flip back and forth between those POIs. Now the fight's actually breaking down at Steamy Stacks. Savage, Refsguard seem to have wiped Screwy and Nexus off the face of the Fortnite Island, just with a little bit of a consequence of Andretta getting knocked. It feels like Sancho just got a free buff points off spawn. There wasn't really any much contention whatsoever. I think Savage might actually still be looking for the rest of the squad for the moment. They might be slightly split, looking at how things are going so far, but with this loadout, there should be no problems at all for Savage to wrap things up.
This is what they were worried about going into day 2. They thought they will be contested. Usually Steamy Stacks in the EU region is historically heavily contested. Last season, Andretta Refsguard was Scrab, dealt with 2-3 trios at times contested in there. So there's no stranger to that. They expected it. They bot review it and they were ready. And now Janice, Hen, and Chapix were ready for Highcrest. Once again, Vortex is going to be left alone right now, and they're going to actually go ahead and catch him out in the bush. So far,
the Bush Ranger play.
The bush tray, when you all got it in the back pocket, that's all you can do. And right now, you're looking at a 6-1 advantage right now going Hen's way. And anytime any team walks out of Craigie, they do really well. And when Hen's team walks out of Craigie, they get double-digit victory royales. That is the potential of the pop-off that they have here. But Shayo, pop-off potential for Thomas AC flicking on us. Day 2 is usually their day.
Yeah, usually on day 2, this team you're watching on screen really ends up popping off. They're landing at Dirty Docks. And if this is your first time watching the FNCS, the early game is just about controlling where you land. You guys probably have your spots too of where you want to go. It could be big like Dirty, it could be small like this Junk Junction sort of, POI where Red Rush, Exterios are dropping at. They have a huge split where they travel around the map. There's many different things to do. The basic rule for everyone, though, is just to survive. If you're fighting anyone, you got to win that fight. So we already saw it happen. The big names coming off of Spawn unscathed, basically. And everyone else is, really amping up to have a very good first game. There's still 30 trios alive right now. The only two that have dropped we watched, that was Screwy's trio and then High Chris's at Craggy Cliffs. Everyone else is just going to be rotating now, looking for lots of damage around the map.
And that was our third place team, Mysterios, with Red Rush and Mappy, with a kind of an unexpected performance. Not anybody really had them. Red Rush, the FNCS squad champion, alongside with Mysterios and Mappy, they had a really solid day. They kind of played conservatively. They were able to get a lot of placement points alongside with some valuable elims. But the thing that they have to work on is, can they continue that pace? They're pretty much playing out of body, like we mentioned yesterday, and that's pretty difficult to do in a high stakes lobby like this one.
Absolutely. And for this team on screen, I mean, you can see the stat, the importance for these guys on the second day of competition. It's more monumental than any other team we're going to be watching today. For like Anas and Thomas HD, their day ones usually are kind of scraping by. They'll be in the top 10. It won't be something crazy we're watching, but on day 2, they really start popping off. Sometimes you see multiple victory royales. We see lots of high placement games. The issue is, I'm not sure looking at this lobby if it's going to be as easy as before. Just look at the map, how spread out it is for every single team, where the zone is going to be looking at as well. The level of competition is so high, and for these guys on the top right to be able to perform, I mean, they're going to have to pull out miracles from inside of them. Like, it is so difficult, especially with so many good players in the lobby, to be consistent, be at the top. They can't miss out on one game, especially the first game, the one we're watching right now. They're going to have to do a very, very good job while they're playing, or their entire momentum will be just thrown away for the day.
We already saw a taste of Zone 1. It's going to be a northern zone, so you have Hen Trio looking really solid. We already talked about Levin, talked about at the analyst desk. Nebs' trio has been doing really solid, considering they have not been finishing in the top 10. If you go back and VOD review Nebs' trio, Game 3, they ran over some of the biggest names in the region, getting 5+ eliminations, I think 8. And that is something that I have to keep my eye on the rest of the way, because they were taking out the likes of Clement. They were taking out the likes of Adil's trio. So, hey, you got to watch out for Nebs, who kind of surprised everyone during the qualifier stage, being able to qualify out of Stealthy Stronghold. They're looking really good, already primed to have a fantastic day 2, just like in Dreda, Revsguard, and Savage. And I think you said it really good, Shio. Basically, so sometimes it's good to get contested, because now they could just go ahead and post up. You don't have to really worry about Storm Surge. And even though they didn't really have problems within day 1, this makes things alleviates just a little bit there.
Watching Wakey Eye dropping can also rotate some people who are dropping on the way outside to the map.
Oh my!
We'll have to resort to just going inside cars. Sometimes, though, depending on how and where you're rotating, you can just get addered up while you drive around the map. The big thing about day 2 is just to make sure you're playing that first game very close to the chest. Sometimes we're watching EU yesterday. While the game started to go on a little bit, people started to experiment, play a little bit more loose. We had not that many people surviving, lots of people fighting in zone. This time, though, at least for this game, everyone's taking it very seriously. You're going to start seeing a lot of bases pop up around the map. iDrop's already doing it. Here's Pizza, Ardent, and Fast Roki. This trio is the most troublesome on this entire day and on the Fortnite map. Their actual strategy is to play around other people, make sure when they're actually lacking and not watching, they take over their position. They love the third-party fights. You can see it right now. They're bothering another trio, just trying to rotate. They have to make an entire wall just to get by this river. This is crazy. The Fast Roki, Ardent, Pizza, especially in the endgame, man, they love taking over height and just interrupting people. The crazy thing is, though, when there's no one to actually counter, they don't actually end up doing too much. They end up not having a game plan set in stone. So I hope they find a trio to kind of act off of, or they might be in trouble.
Now we're taking a look at Bloomy's trio, putting pressure down on Tayson's trio. Builds are on fire because the car exploded. Bloomy's trio is kind of a trio that's coming from that west coast of Fort Crumpet. If you didn't watch yesterday, they've been doing solid work, considering they've been avoiding a lot of the kind of the scary trios coming out of that side of the map. And they did really well. They've been around the top 10. A lot of people expected them just to be Storm Surge tags for that side. Able to get away, make some smart rotations, rotate early, reset how important it can be. Now, when I was watching Tayson and ForZR, they kind of play a little bit conservative. Even though they made it to in-game, they weren't really looking for eliminations. They were just looking for placement. If they can match what we all know what they can with that elim firepower that they do have behind their trio, they can essentially move up the leaderboard a little bit faster rather than just staying kind of in the middle of the top pack.
Yeah, Red Rush on your screen now, 4-0 that we were watching before. A lot of these invisible type trios have just survived so far on the first day. For day 2, if they want to end up coming first, yeah, you got to hit these shots like Mappy is right now as well, but you have to start playing for the win. Take some risks and grab this game for your own trio.
That's what I was about to ask you, Shayo. Is it just about being conservative and trying to sit all the placements, or is it about going for the win? And you answered it right there. You got to go for the win because no one's going to give you the crown. You're going to have to take it from our defending FNCS champions and Hens Trio.
Sometimes, depending on the zone, you never know exactly. The game can give you that win. Yesterday, we saw the craziest things towards the south side. When I'm looking at the middle of the map, though, all these consistent type trios who end up playing low ground, they end up winning out the games a little bit more. It's very difficult for Height to do much. You get bounce back zones. They don't have that much room to end up getting eliminations. And eliminations are also a big wave and name of the game. Take these two trios, for example, as well. Trulex Squeezy on the bottom side, DKS Gray and Shakaz on top. Trulex, the guy on your screen right now, glorious and no pun intended at just playing these end games and having a position on Height. These guys controlled the game yesterday so much from the 5th zone onwards, but then basically choked after that. They could not hold on to that title spot, the big all the way up top high ground, and other teams rolled over them. Maybe they can clap back today. You have to make changes. That's what Wolfies is going for on your screen right now. Actually bullying Exteriors and Mappy, but maybe just looking for damage. They'll move on. You don't want to throw your game over just one mid-game fight. You want to survive for the whole entire time.
You're looking at what's happening, the adjustments already. Wolfies was 15-15 that yellow house, games 1-2. They kind of split retail row against Kiko's trio. Now they're rotating early. We're seeing the retail row teams rotate early. Scram's trio, the other retail row, is rotating towards Lazy Lake. This time, Wolfies is kind of pushing that Cammy split, and that Cammy split right now is being held down by Red Rush's trio.
We talked about early game as well in terms of how players want to, go about their game. It's about defending your drop spot. Now towards mid game, you'll see this cool little graphic above the mini map on the right side. It says damage threshold 121 above for Deuce. This entire mechanic is called Storm Surge. So basically, when you're rolling in this game, there's so many players that end up staying alive. You want to give these guys a challenge and make sure the entire server is staying healthy as well. So 90 players will have to drop down to 70 for this entire player threshold, and that's decided by how much damage they do. So you basically have to deal damage or you get dealt damage by this purple lightning that comes down. You'll see it in a second. Deuce is ahead of it right now. Everyone after their drop spots is playing for this Storm Surge threshold. They'll look for damage. For Deuce, it was long range beams. Over here, it's box fights between 5 different trios. Kiko last alive on his squad. Dementos following closely behind them. This is a horror movie. He's trying to move forward. So many beams from all spots. There's an arrow in his elbow. This has to hurt. He's going down, and that's one trio taken out.
Sometimes you take arrows to the shin, but there's nothing like an arrow to the elbow. That's going to knock you down. That's going to take you out. But now Podesai one loss. MXR with back, like very last place right now. They have been very inconsistent. They were going down to Stealthy Stronghold. In fact, game 5, they were kind of splitting some randomness. But now maybe they could come up and kind of shake up that bottom of the board, because right now they're affecting this rotation right here just by being here.
Hey, you're talking about randomness. What is this? This is, I'm counting like 7 different trios at the same time fighting in Storm. There's Fast Roki, the Interrupters, High Ground fighting Stompy right. Down below, Dementos is not stopping. Jamside is going down in the build.
Oh, man.
This is a crazy 6-way fight. ST's here too, making it off spawn for, I think, the first time I'm watching, and they're looking real good with this loadout.
This is just a repeat of day 1. All the Southern teams from Misty Meadows, Lazy Lake, Caddy Corner, all being late on the rotations and all colliding as you're seeing Jamside getting eliminated by Podesai. This is what's happening the entire tournament. It looks like it's going to be a repeat in day 2. If any of these trios want to get better for the day in placement, they just have to avoid this kind of white line engagement that's happening right here, Shayo. This traffic jam hasn't stopped, and this is game 7 out of the 12.
It's going to get crazy as the day goes on, too. These are teams playing conservative. Bad Sniper inside Storm, eating some damage, looking for an angle. Not going to really find it, but has some meat to eat, so it's all good on his end. Once again, in terms of reading what's going on screen, it might be confusing. There's health bars to watch. Once that threshold thing pops up on the right side as well, that's like an extra health bar to kind of show you guys how the trio's doing. If they're about 300, 400 damage above, it's really good. Anything below that, sometimes they could be in trouble. There's even more trios, though, still inside the Storm. Hellfire's so far back. Okay, never mind. It's the reverse side. They're actually in. everyone's looking good. Oh, look at this. So many people, Sancho, playing side by side, close together. And like, this is going to be rough rotates all the way across.
A very nightmare type of rotation if the zone keeps pulling north, but also a nightmare start for Red Rush. Asterios and Mappy down already. Our third place team is out. That gives room for ForZR, Tayson, and Nate to move up the board, and Queasy, Trulix, and Jerky right now. Like, you nailed it, man. They've been holding on to height. They will be at height. Like, about 4 out of the 6 games, they were on height, and they got it taken away from them. And only one of them, they were able to hold on and get a victory royale. So expect this team to continuously to fight for height, to expend all their mats, to hold on to height, do whatever that they can, because they're all in for that strategy. And when you go all in, you saw it already, they get down into shambles. But I'm expecting them to at least get 1 or 2 victory royales here today.
This is such a weird game, though. Yesterday, we were watching organized driving, basically. Everyone in their own lanes, way far away. They were, following traffic laws. This time, I'm watching bumper cars. I'm looking at trios just bouncing off of each other, shooting over and over again. No one is leaving space for anyone to walk by. Even Nate, so far away from his trio, is looking to affect this one. Trulex getting hard beamed. This is troublesome.
This is just what it means, that how much eliminations are. 2 points apiece, Shio. Expect people to go for more elims because they have to make up some ground to catch up to the top of the leaderboard.
Everyone's also just bunched up at the south side right now. There's a river all the way in between. Some elevation will be tricky to actually navigate. There is one big hill, and there are some kings on it. A god trio, maybe, who's watching. Kind of an opposite lifeguard on this river. They're actually looking to take out people who might be drowning, and everyone's gonna have to start to swim in just a second. Jerky's already down, so Trulix and Queasy are already looking bad, and look at who they have to go by. Snazy, Andalex, Tuz Kiriachi, Shakel's up top. This is like playing a game on the hardest veteran difficulty, and you have no ammunition. Your movement speed is slower as well. I don't know how they're gonna get out of this one.
This is going to be a ruthless rotation. All eyes to see who could be able to look at all the hard mats already expended here, because they have been box fighting. They have been trading blows here. The entire south side of the map. So many trios are on the south side here. The north side is still a little bit going to be troublesome, but not so much. And there's already a team right there in the orange in the middle of that map. They're going to have strong positioning. That is the high point of this section. But the river is available for rotations. On the top right of your screen, that is X-Squeeze's trio, who've had a rough start to their tournament run. Shifting down to Camp Cod, having trouble with Storm Surge, not being able to get what they normally do. Let's see how they do here in day 2, making those adjustments.
No one's holding anything back. Stormy Red already going down. Tuz Kiriachi, they need consistent games. The reason they're inside the top 10 right now is they're really good on placement. Just like all these teams you see on your screen, they're lacking eliminations. Janice and Chapix doing their classic, what we saw yesterday. Low ground mountainous rotation. Every time they end up doing this, the zone plays for them. I'm not sure if this is like a type of rain dance, but they get every zone when they're in this position. They look good while doing it, and they end up clutching games.
We already saw who's at height holding it. It is Vidil's trio who've made those game plan movements that they were talking about, those adjustments. They said on social media, we have a plan. We saw yesterday, they were kind of just pushing everything, getting in some scrums in mid-game, rotating late, but now they're early, and now they have prime position to get beams. So now they're changing up their box fighting mentality for Storm Surge, and they're just going to do it from a distance. Wow, I'm impressed.
And they came through yesterday with a crazy win in the first game as well. 12 total eliminations. Looked really good. Are these guys hot starters, though? Because after that, it was just mistake after mistake. They fell down the board, and they're in 16th place now. They used to be first on the day, and they ended at 16th.
If they could just chill out a bit, just don't use the NOS, don't use the turbo, just kind of just ease off the gas just a little bit, coast, put that bad in close, and maybe they could just get on through. Because when they get to in game, they're dangerous. We have yet to see them perform in this tournament at in game.
Jason ForZR, Nate, similar type of circumstance. They just need to end up grabbing this game for themselves. I'll watch a lot of people rotating beside them. I'm still feeling a little bit of a survival vibe from this trio. They're not looking to be in a big spot to win the game currently, but at the same time, they have a max zone to rotate. So let's hold off on that for a second. Tayson getting tagged from the right side. There's even other trios rotating later than this. They have to move through a maze. They don't have a map. They're not sure what's going to be in front of them right here. It's going to be Wakey and Floki into Sipto setting a trap. Andalex uses the river and goes by fast. MXR one last Podicide. They're moving too. And right above them, is Bad Sniper with Andretta as a solo player. Refsguard and Savage down. How did this happen? This is your first place team right now, cumulatively over the 7 games. I know it just says 7 points right there, but that's just for day 2. The first place team has 1 person left. If Andretta goes down, their team stops getting placement, they might drop out of first. All eyes are on Andretta for this end game, and there's so many people looking to take him out to try to grab the lead.
Andretta has to go back at the time machine. He finished 24th in the World Cup solos, so he could kind of dip into the past, pull that rabbit out of the hat. Maybe there's some magic here because his job is just all about getting placement as many points as possible before he gets lobbied.
Oh no, this is trouble. This is the 3rd time I'm watching this happen.
It happens.
This happens, CS.
It happens.
Throwing these things close range, they're so lethal though. Look at Bubak's health just go down more and more. Now he's at 30, used to be at 100. He's going down to 20 as well. It's so hard to run away from those Stingfish, but once again, you use them in close range, they end up doing damage to you as well. This entire box too, this complex of builds has so many top trios and making sure your medkit's up. These guys are going all in on their HP. They're looking to just take this end game by storm.
Oh, yeah, and the Storm has already moved away from all of our competition. The first moving has been revealed and is going back towards Dirty Docks. This is going to be a very dirty, a very dangerous rotation. And Thomas AC and Austin Flick, we said that day 2 is their day. Are they going to be able to seize it and have that pop-off game, Shio?
This is not only the most important day, but this has to be the most important game. The thing we've seen on EU, especially early, is people like to contest height. They like to interrupt Thomas, Flick, and Anas, but look how far this split goes. Thomas is back in an old zone a minute away. Anas and Flick are already all the way on the front side, building a new base. So these guys have real estate on all corners of the map. Janice Hen and Chapix, they're going down to on the backside of Storm. Man. This is absolutely ruthless. People have to make it up a mountain, go down a mountain. It's tough. The hill's in the way, and Chapix is the last person alive on this squad to make the rotate.
Chapix is usually the tarper. He could navigate these builds. He could do those layer switches. He could just hold on as much as possible, but he cannot just get any attention looking his way. Down at the ultimate low with only 25 HP. This is the defending champion here who had the momentum leaving from day 1, walking away with the Victory Royale. He's going to do all that he can. Now they're in the 2nd threshold placement, but let's take an eye on high. Thomas HC, Anas and Flick here, putting some pressure down below. They have the ammo. Look at the AR. They have all the options they can to put the pressure down on low ground.
Every player playing scared, but fear gets relieved as the zone actually bounces back. Everyone on middle and low ground, even the people getting struck by this purple lightning from Storm Surge, are safe and can breathe for the moment. Height will have to work overtime to try to break these builds and go for shots. Look how tough it is. Brick builds everywhere. Metal. Wow. Vidil, Noah Riley, they're surviving on low. They get to have a little bit of a break. Yeah, even Andretta's alive. The first place team has 1 player. He takes out Sun in mid-ground. Meanwhile, Thomas, Flick, and Anas are looking for anything right now. They only have 2 eliminations, Sancho. I've never seen them this, unaffected on the lobby. This is troublesome for them. They need to try to wrap up this game.
Yeah, but this is where they start cooking up there as they both get iRes and Andretta right there. This is where they start getting eliminations when the lobby starts getting really tight and congested right now. The most important thing is their builds are so low, so they're going to have to get closer. Already they're setting up someone with the heals. Thomas AC is holding on to some medkits here, so he is going to be that heal up win condition. Anas and Flicker have to go down here, but look, Noah Riley and Vidil and Reason are there on the low ground, and they're going to clean up this layer here, and they get Etsy, and they get Bad Sniper. Noah Riley and Vidil and Reason are here in the end game, and they have the potential to pop off even more, baby!
Low ground scrappy, high ground free. There's so many different types of scenes we're seeing so far in this game. 1 trio in the middle. Flick falls down, big fall damage. Noah Riley in his box. He's in a pit of Vipers, and there's no chances to survive. It's too venomous. Thomas HD and Anas have to do this as a duo. They've done it before, but at the same time, there's so many different players of high calibers down below.
With the zone going towards their backyard, this is going to be the game that could be the signature game that I was talking about in day 1. They already almost had it, but Hen took that away from them. They're not going to let it go away here. Marvin with a phenomenal performance, the best performance they had today.
Now this is where zone tries to get so hard for the low ground trios. It's so tricky. Everything's kind of just getting claustrophobic. The walls are closing in. The zone's pushing people next to a big mountain. One last gets taken out. There's no harpoon here. Yes, Anas only has 7 builds, but it might be enough to last just 50 seconds. They have to connect to this build. They're beaming down. It's lasers from the sky, and not even a planet could survive this pressure. Right now, Marvin, he's working around the build. Somehow everyone's escaped. Thomas is going for the beams when Anas finds the first. They're still staying up. It's a patient game. Reason last alive 2v1, and he could still do it. He has all the mats from the eliminated bodies below. We're going over a bridge. It's going to be a stalemate for about 30 seconds. If Anas and Thomas don't drop down, yeah, they're not going to. They're going to stay up, and Reason has some time to breathe.
What does Reason have in his inventory if he has enough builds just to hold out here? Reason, they had the day one victory out, game one popped off huge. If Reason could clutch it, no! Anas says not so fast. Big elbow jump, but Reason claps back. Reason still can he get the siphon? He does! If he can find Thomas HT, Reason could have the clutch. Oh my goodness! What? What? Are you kidding me? Reason gets the victory out! How, bro? How? Shio, are you kidding me? Are you kidding
Thomas
me?
HD, 1 second off of the med kit all the way on high ground is what I basically see and how it looks like. Reason gets the siphon at the last millisecond of time as well, wins out the game. This man, not even a troll under a bridge, a goat under a bridge, clutches the unclutchable.
Man, let's just go to the desk. Go to the desk.
What the heck am I watching? This is just the first game. Wow, dude. Okay, listen. Reason got put in one of the most difficult situations you could be put in as a trio. You have one member left alive in those final few zones, and that member's thinking, okay, what do I have to do? Like, what? At this point, is it placement? Is it elims? He's like, you know what? Let me just channel my Sprite energy and just roll up in there and get the victory royale, Reese. That's what I like to see.
We cannot have tier 1 teams messing up medkit timings in the end game. We saw Thomas hit the zone, and then as he started to pop the medkit, you saw him start to move a little bit afterwards. He'd already messed up to start with. This is like a clinical play that we have to have locked down. We've seen a lot of this actually on NA East of them messing up the timings of it.